Alright.
Alright,
so. Oh, all the words are moving.
I don't have to look at any of that, do I?
No. I'm just going to ask you the question. Alright. He's going to give us a quiet spell and then he's going to point. Good afternoon, barbarians. The time is 5:35 p.m. It is Thursday, September... What is it? I don't know what it is. 21st. Thursday, September something. Huh?
The 21st?
21st. Sounds good to me.
20?
And I have a super special guest this week. I have Anzzia Sky.
Yes.
Anzzia Sky from Anzzia Magazine. She's the owner of Anzzia Magazine, International Entertainment and Arts Magazine. She's an adventurer, model, and entrepreneur. So this is what we're going to be doing. Y'all thought I was just going to bring a bunch of big-headed, four-headed goons up in here. Yeah, she's a savage, but welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Man, I'm telling you what. Listen, there are some things. This is what catches my attention. The way I dress, the way I look, I like something to reach out from across the room and catch me.
Okay.
And when a mutual friend, a person that you interviewed, he forwarded me the information, and I'm not surprised in the least. Shout out to Kendall Tucker and whatever his rap pseudonym is. I don't know what.
T.
Who is it?
Kendall T.
Kendall T. Triple D. Deedly D. Every time. I've known him most of his life. He's had a bunch of different names. I give up on it. But Kendall Tucker. Shout out to Big Kendall. He's coming on the show soon. But I am not at all shocked and surprised that he's in a magazine. Not even at least a little bit. So when he forwarded it to me, what I ended up seeing was something that reached out across the room and slapped the shit out of me. And that's what I was like. I immediately was like, move Kendall, who is this magazine that you're working with? So immediately I leapfrogged Kendall. No offense, Kendall. I know you're going to do big things. See you, buddy. You're off to the side. I got her now in my show. So visually stunning. The art, the fashion, it reaches out from across the room. I try to explain to people, I'm like, it's like these really hot chicks that were dressed really nice to go out, and then like somebody started chasing them. And then all of a sudden they end up on the other side. They're still super hot, but they look like they're just like a little slightly disheveled, you know, and that is just like, and I don't mean if that's smashing on your art, I'm sorry. I'm just telling you from my perspective. And I was like, wow.
Like a compliment?
It's totally a compliment because I mean, it's, you know, it's like, okay, 42 years old, I'll probably say something that doesn't sound right, but it all comes from a good place.
Okay.
I look at it and I feel like I see kind of like the Harley Quinn, like that kind of vibe.
I like it.
And that's what I mean. Like somebody who's just got like a little bit, like she's at the rave that I've sometimes, you know, allegedly may have frequented, and I saw her, you know, and it's like, wow, you know, or somebody that like I said, it just reaches out from across the room. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there because I feel like I'm digging myself in a hole with this compliment.
It works, but thank you.
So tell me about the style. Tell me about your style of photography. You don't have to give me trade secrets because frankly, I don't know anything about that. But what is it that your eye sees that's different?
Well, in terms of photography, I mean, I've always loved fashion. So being that you caught that right away, love it. Thank you.
From across the room.
Huge. So that's my style. I'm fashion 100%. However, I do this thing where I take a really awesome model and then I'll throw her in like an abandoned building.
See, really that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I mean, and it gives me like really cool lighting and cool angles and stuff. I don't know. Aesthetically, it's pleasing to me. I'm just weird, I guess. Mm-hmm, but it works, you know. Other people seem to dig it. And that's really what we're about, is making other people look awesome.
Listen, I've never seen the style. Anzzia Magazine, big props to the detail is clean. It's got every I's dotted, every T's crossed. As far as like, I'm the guy that when I go into a restaurant, the first thing I do is judge a restaurant by its restroom. Because it's the details, it's the little things. So immediately I'm looking at the magazine, I'm like, wow, this is what I hear. And because I'm a crazy podcast fanatic, and Vice, Shane, whatever his name is, the guy who owns Vice, he started out in the magazine business. And what he was saying in his podcast, because my big guru, my big Joe Rogan, that's my guru. That's where it's all, I've listened to that religiously. And he was talking about how he got into the magazine business and how it is the absolute worst business. It's like it's the worst. It's the most difficult to stay on with the money and I mean, and it's just like all I've ever heard was like, you know, it's kind of like the newspaper, magazines, 3-piece suits, things that are going away that some of us fight to keep back, so to try to hold on to.
Yeah.
So I see this magazine, I see your style. Is this style something that's yours alone? Or is it something that, you know, you draw creative inspiration? Who are the people that you look up to in the industry? Is it of the present? Is it the past? How does it all come together in that head of yours?
Oh, wow, that's...
Right? Oh. Holla. Asking the ones that count, the hard-hitting questions.
Listen, I can't tell you how it all comes together in my head. That just happens. But I draw inspiration from so many people. I'm surrounded by artists literally on a daily basis.
Nice.
And I draw from them like a battery, like no lie. Really, in the studio, the way we have it set up, it's my company, Anzzia Magazine. We're also affiliated with Red Room Sound Studios and Something From Nothing Productions. So on a daily basis, we have hip-hop artists and singers and people coming into Red Room Sound Studios. We have the people that I'm interviewing, be it skydivers or dancers, models, musicians, filmmakers, you know, all of those. And then we also have Travis Cecil and Something From Nothing Productions, and he's a filmmaker and he does music videos and stuff like that. So on a regular basis, I'm surrounded by talent and art and creative people. So I draw from them, and I feel like they draw from me, and we just charge each other.
Right.
So now when the artists reach out to me or I reach out to artists, I hope and I feel like it's to the point where they can feel our energy. They see what we're trying to accomplish, and really we're just trying to make the artists look good. You know, you're putting in work, you're giving time and really building yourself up.
Right.
You're doing it. So we're just going to kind of like shine a light on you and be like, hey man, they're out there. This is what it is. Everyone's complaining, oh, I want to hear new music. I want to see new things. Okay, so those artists are they're already out there performing.
Right.
You have to now support your local artists. You have to support the ones in the middle that are on the come up. That's where Anzzia Magazine falls in.
Well, isn't that a coincidence? Isn't that fate? Because that's almost like I feel like I have the same blueprint, only in comedy.
Boom.
You know, with this whole comedy thing, and what's amazing is it's like there's all these different podcasts that are already established in this area, and I can just reach out to them like I'm reaching out to you and make these connections.
Support.
And from day one, like I'm sitting at the open mic, and this kid's walking up, and everybody starts clapping. And I'm like, man, what's going on? And he walks up, and everybody's giving him a pat on the shoulder, and the guy says, yeah, he just did his first paid set.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, how cool is that? And he's like, yeah, man, 2 years of grinding, I'm finally getting it. I'm like, cool, man. And then he goes, $25.
But he was proud of it.
No, and I'm not hating that part of it.
You know?
But I was just like, I would pay him more, is my point. So then I start finding out like the politics of it. And again, I was just trying to have a good time, do a little open mic. Now all of a sudden, here I am looking at it from the business perspective and going, holy mackerel, because I know what I could get if I could pay a feature act or a headliner more than what a 500-seat room would pay with 100 people. And it's like, wow, you know, so now all of a sudden this grassroots thing's coming up where I'm trying to bring these comics up. I had this young man who came up, shout out Reed Evans, he's been on the show, and he'd never done a 20-minute set before. And while he was at my room, somebody hired him to do a job. So it was just like that whole thing. And then all of a sudden, it's like, you know, no offense, Kendall, put him on the shelf. Man, Anzzia, you've got an eye. I want to talk to you, and here you are. And wow, what a moving and I've got some real ass people coming on this show, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Y'all just didn't know. Y'all thought. You're like, what the hell could he be bringing to this world? This is what I'm bringing. So, what was it that made you decide the path, what lies before you in this journey that is Anzzia Sky? What is it that did you fall into something, or did you have a goal?
Like 100?
100.
Right.
Bring it.
So, last year I was in a car accident. Right. Let me go back further than that. Mm-hmm. My career has always been in the fashion industry. Mm-hmm. I started out in the fashion industry. My mom worked in New York in the fashion industry with Michael Kors and Klein and all of that, you know, big names, right?
Right.
Why she moved to Florida, don't ask me. But we'll get into that later. So I've always been in the fashion industry in one way or the other. Boom. I train models, do the whole thing. I was in a car accident last year, and I could not walk for quite some time.
Right.
Now, in the job that I was doing, training a model how to walk a runway was my bread and butter.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you can't walk, you can't train a model to walk a runway. Period. I needed a contingency plan, and I decided to fall back on what I went to college for. And I studied journalism and quite a bit of other stuff, business,
Sure.
yada, yada, yada.
Absolutely.
And I had a blog at the time that was doing quite well. Just interview with an artist that had started a few months earlier, and it was doing really well. I decided I was going to look into starting a magazine. The blog was doing so well, why can't I make this make money? Okay, so I take my idea, interview with an artist, and I just transitioned it into magazine form. Boom. And that's how we have now, a year later and some change, Anzzia Magazine. We started out with, I think one of my first interviews for the blog was a band called Together in Exile. We went to a local show in Ocala. They were performing with a number of other bands. And I remember throwing it out there. I was like, hey, can we do an interview with you guys? And a number of the other bands kind of were like, no, we're not really into that. And we're like, okay, we understand. And Together in Exile, they were like, hey, of course,
That's right.
by all means. And that was, boom, we were rolling from that point.
Now, for those of you who let me break in for a second and translate that little over a year. It wasn't just like that, okay? Because I don't want to send the wrong message. It just twinkle fingers and shit happens.
No.
I guarantee there was probably many sleepless nights.
Do you want me to break that?
Break that shit down, because sometimes I'm trying to bridge gaps.
Okay.
And there's a huge, I think because of my experience since January till now, going to these open mics in coffee bars near Valencia. So there seems to be a communication gap between chauvinist, sexist, old school, raised in immigrant homes to modern millennials that get offended and they're just outraged about everything. And they, and it's like, hey, I would love for you to come and help me work on this editing stuff. Oh man, I don't do anything for less than $50 an hour. And he has dirty feet and flip-flops. So it's like, man, okay, so I just feel like it's not that easy. So let's break that down, please, because I got plenty of time. So let's break it down. Let's just talk about those long nights.
Here we go. So from there, how am I going to do it? How am I going to be different? I guess that's what everyone wants to know. How do I set myself apart from everyone else, besides just being me? What magazines are doing? Videos. We'll do that as well.
Right.
Run the interviews so people can actually watch them. That's huge nowadays. If you just put still content out, a lot of the times you're not going to get those views.
That's right.
So you have to get something that's going to draw the eye. And I had a good friend, Joseph Rothenberger.
Shout out Joseph Rothenberger.
Shout out, 2-time Emmy Award winning television producer, 40 some odd years experience. I was like, let me pull this card real quick. Hey Joe, I have this crazy idea that I'm setting forward, in motion, and I need a video producer. He's like, all right, let's talk. Buy me lunch. That's Joe's thing. Buy me lunch.
Right.
I'm like, all right, I got you, Joe. So we go to lunch. And he's like, it's crazy, but I'm in. And I was like, okay. So we got the magazine, we got the direction and the content that we're going to try to achieve. And we have a video producer. Now I need a photographer. Because if I had to do everything else and take the photos, I felt like it was too much. So I found a photographer that I had been watching him grow over the years. And I loved his work. Tyson Gore. Shout out Tyson Gore.
Shout out Tyson Gore.
Right. So I also interviewed Tyson for my blog previously before I started the magazine. And I was like, let me just reach out to him. Hey, Tyson, this is crazy. This is what I'm doing. And I've seen your work, love your work. Can we work? He's like, let's work. All right, cool. So now I assembled a little team.
Nice.
Sleepless nights? Yes. How am I going to pay these people? How are we gonna, all of those business questions, of course, you ask yourself. But I figured I can't let that stop me.
That's right.
We'll cross that bridge as we get to it. We start putting together content, and we set a date. The date was set to launch September 2nd. Well, the magazine launched September 1st, and we were having a ribbon cutting ceremony for Anzzia Magazine officially on September 2nd.
Nice.
That was our deadline. We were terrified just putting together all the interviews and making sure we made the artists look good.
Like they could reach out across the room and slap you.
Exactly.
I know.
I mean, we really put in a lot of time to get the quality that we wanted. It was back and forth, me and Tyson fighting because, I don't like this about the photo, and he's like, I love this about the photo. So, the differences of opinion. Joe's like, this is how I want the video edited, and I'm like, I don't like that. We got to cut this down, but we came together and we did something.
The worst thing in the world is one artist. Worse than that, 3 artists.
So we've continued to grow since then. Tyson is no longer with us. We also have now Travis Cecil of Something From Nothing Productions. We have Malcolm Sear from Red Room Sound Studios. Now we're a team, as well as with Joe. We have a production crew.
Yes.
Shout out the whole production.
Shout out to everybody. God knows.
Yeah, Kathy. We have editors. Stephanie Skylove is a reporter now that we have. It's taken a year to really pull others in, and I think now people are seeing the work that we're putting in and what we're trying to do. At the end of the day, there's not one time that you're going to see us bashing an artist or writing something that's going to make them look bad, because we respect the time and the effort that you put in. So we're going to do our part to help boost you up.
It's good stuff.
That's what we do.
It's good stuff.
We got quite the team now.
Right.
But I think in a year's time, we move pretty fast. We're in 37 countries, and we have over 150,000 monthly readers. So I'm proud of what we could do in a year's time, man.
They're like, who do you know that's gonna come on your little show? My little show. Shout out to all those who asked me about my little show, my little comedy routine. I got a bit where it talks about how the people who are the closest to me, they're just like with your little jokes.
Oh yeah.
And your little
little magazine.
and it's funny because the parallels. It's just amazing because the parallel. It's like, is that how y'all young people? You're just blowing my mind with the story, and as people are, the thing about podcasts is you kind of become inundated in the life. So so my experiences become the world's experiences, and the people I meet become the people they meet, and they're gonna learn as the story progresses. That is, the onion is Alex. They're gonna see how many times they're gonna be like, oh, now I know what he meant when he was interviewing Miss Sky, and she was like this and this, and I was like, wow, because I'm telling you the parallels to find, it's funny because Joe even looks like my Barbarians, because it's like I rolled in.
Joe started.
No, I'm not getting Joe started. He told me he's German, so that means it's like, oh,
he'll
man.
Go back and forth with you.
I bet he will. I bet you stay right there.
This is the
Don't
perfect
you move.
show for you, Joe.
Right, he'll be on soon. Don't even get it twisted. He'll be on soon, Joe.
Yeah.
You'll get your 3 hours. I get up to 3 hours. You can take an hour, but you get up to 3. And I can already tell you're a barbarian in the making. I can already tell. So the thing about it, though, is like my story is I'm over here talking to this old guy who found out that when I was a kid, I liked comic books. Okay, and it turns out like this guy's a collector, buys, sells, shipping and receiving. He's an eBay thing. He's got this whole thing going on. And at the time, again, I'm like really not into technology as much as I should be, and I'm learning quick. But that's a whole nother story. Back in 2008 when everything fell apart, so did me. But and I just stopped. I just shut technology off. Oh, 2008. Okay. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's another story. But the long story short is, here I am now, fast forward to today, and the two guys, one of them has well, first of all, he can tear apart anything, put anything back together, and he has this creativity. And then the other guy is shipping and receiving, and I bought a kratom line. I have my own line of kratom because I got off pain medication after 15 years of being on oxycodone, 4 prescription 10s a day, and with 0 side effect, with 0 withdrawals, I switched to kratom and I walked away. I'm almost 200 days in now that I've been off all pharmaceuticals. And my biggest worry about how do I make the decision to leave the retail company, the corporate world that I was in, was because I had insurance. And with the insurance, I had a monthly prescription. And I was like, how do I go away from it? I know there's a part of me that needs it for the pain, but there's a big part of me that's frankly addicted to it after 15 years. So here I am now. I got into this, and this guy's shipping and receiving. So now we've got all the connections, and everything's falling into place.
Just happened.
And everything just happened. And it was a year of grinding. And it was but like I said, the parallels are just amazing.
Have you noticed, I don't know if you've had this similarity, but ask and you shall receive. I noticed just asking, hey, would you possibly be interested in an interview for Anzzia Magazine? Oh, really? Yeah, I'd love to. People love...
No doubt. It's amazing. And you know what?
Same reaction?
Oh my gosh. Well, here's the thing. Part of the inspiration about this whole show was I work in retail in the Villages, Florida, the #1 retirement community in the universe. The average income of a retired person in the Villages over the overall is $100,000 a year. That means you had professionals in every aspect of the business. And they use what I used to do for a living as a means of something to do socially during the day. So I would see them through my deli 4 or 5 times a week. So you become what I call 3-foot friends. So if I wait on you 3 times a week for 10 years, the people would bring me gifts. They're like, we were on vacation, we thought about you, we brought you this. And I was like, well, where'd you go? Thailand. I'm like, what? Why are you thinking about me in Thailand? Are you people crazy? But it's because these people, now these guys are all like Nancy Lopez lives in the Villages. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's like you got a lot of really interesting people. And then the initial seed that was planted was my father's story, an immigrant from Cuba who came to this country with nothing. My mother, granted, is it's the wind beneath the wings. It's all good. But my dad's the one with the charisma and the loud, and that's what everyone saw. But the deal was when he was a young man, he bought a piece of property, built a house to sell it. When he sold the house, they went to the paperwork company. There was this big this controversy because my dad didn't realize you had to be 18 years old to do that. So he had bought, built, and sold his first house at 17 because he didn't know he couldn't. So like those are the stories that I was raised on and what I see in the Villages all the time. And these are the people, as well as young movers and shakers, people that have...
You see movers and shakers in the Villages?
Oh,
young
that's
people?
No. It's the movered and the shakered.
Okay.
But those are the wisdom. I mean, you want to talk about stories? There's a guy out there I'm crooning to come on the show who basically was the guy who took the philanthropy part of the largest insurance company in the world in the 70s and built the hospitals in Africa. He would go to the place and he would say, this is where we'll build a library, and it was built.
Just ask him.
So that's oh no, he's a little sketchy about it. What do you mean all this internet stuff? Old people, you gotta deal with it now. I mean, I'm dealing with it, and also the running joke, and one of my famous jokes in my bit is, what else is the Villages famous for? Tell me.
STDs.
What? What are they famous for?
STDs.
That's right, a strong sense of community. Yeah. That's exactly right. So the point is, you've got, here's the deal though. You've got people that have edge to them, that party, that play, that have zeal. Who cares if they're spreading funk between them? They're all going to die. It's all good. The point is, these people are having fun. I love it. People visit from my family. And my daughters, not until they were way in their teenagers did they realize that there weren't squares that people drank in the streets all over the world. They thought everybody had squares. Oh. So I'm sitting with my cousins and stuff, and they go, it's so beautiful. And I go, imagine you're surrounded by STDs right now. All around you. They're everywhere.
That's so messed up.
But it's cool, though, to live here because you got zany, wild-ass, fun-ass people. Fun. And they're like, and oh man, some of them, boy, you get some of these veterans up in here on the interview, and they're like, blah, 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 beep, beep, beep. It's like fuck them Japs. They're like, oh shit, politically incorrect like hell, but they're old, they don't care. And it makes the interesting story, And then it's just them and you and everybody else. I find interesting stories. I have a story where you know what? Let's get to the next question. Fuck all my stories. Yeah, that's right. She's going to interview me, and then she's just flipping the script on me. So what did you see? So what did you see missing in the design that you push more since you had the control? When did you see something you're like, man, I wish it would be different then, or did you see it and we're like, I want to make it different now, and I just want to bring something different to it?
More so, I felt like, and I still do feel this way, like there just needs to be more support for artists that are on the come up, like period.
No doubt.
And I feel like if the people aren't going out there, it's only because they don't know, you know? And I don't feel like people are not going because they're just like, screw it. I really do feel that they want to support. They just don't know these people are out there.
No doubt.
Hungry for new material, and it's right there in front of you. So that's what we do. We provide it. And that's what I saw. I saw that there was a need for that. We're just going to fill it.
It's amazing to me now, despite the fact that it requires a lot of effort and a lot of forward where there's no money, and that's the give and take, but it's amazing how an artist can go from nothing to recorded to on the streets. You know, I mean, it's amazing with technology the way it is. I mean, look at this. You know, this is Hollywood magic like a motherfucker. I mean, there's no doubt that we are deep in the bowels of a multi-million. Look at this stage. It seconds as a mortuary. But the whole thing about it is, it's amazing how you can do something to and affect the universe. Yeah. And it's just amazing. And another thing I gotta say about Ocala is, you know, y'all been doing little come ups. I've been seeing a little improvement. Y'all little vibes better. I ain't gonna lie. I used to always drive away. You would drive, and I mean, I was older, so I'd always go to Orlando to party, or St. Pete Beach. That just shows you how old I am. I go to St. Pete Beach. Y'all, Tampa is a little too crazy for this guy. But the thing about it is what I see now is, what does it take? What is it? Is it you pushing how do people find out about what's going on here?
In terms of, like you said, the art, is it just through the magazine? Is that like the only avenue that you see that this is being able to done?
No,
I mean, of course, there are other avenues out there with social media the way it is.
It's amazing, isn't it?
A quick search, to be honest with you, but not everything is in your face. To be honest with you, I shove the magazine in your face. I make it to where when you see a cover or you see an image from the magazine, you're going to stop for a minute and be like, what was that? You know,
no doubt. It did exactly that.
Well, and thank you. That's what we try to do. We try to grab that attention and yeah.
So what direction are you heading now? What's next?
I would really just like to continue to grow and reach more people and continue to travel. I would like to go see more places and interview people that aren't arm's reach away, you know what I mean? Like we have been, but I'd like to go like other side of the planet, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The U.S. is great. We've been doing in the U.S. I want to continue, obviously, but I would like to step outside and see what is outside of my bubble.
I'll go check it out as long as it's cool climate or there's running air conditioning.
As long as there's no shooting, man.
No, even if there's shooting, as long as there's air conditioning, that motherfucker, I'm all right. But the some of these places with the giant mosquitoes,
with the giant spiders,
and Australia with every other thing can bite you and kill you.
I know, but I really need to.
You know, you look like you ain't got nothing to be afraid of. I'm old. I've already seen it. I can picture, like when I was young, I did all kinds of crazy things. Yeah, I just see your bucket list just being like, you know, I want to change the universe. I get it. I'm down with that. But I'm gonna do mine right here. You know, from the deep in the multi-million-dollar castle, deep in the archives. We're gonna be up here pushing the agenda for Miss Sky. But we're gonna stay right here where it's cool. It's good. So when did the seed, the vision, the dream, the idea come to pass for Anzzia Sky? When did it start? Was it because of the accident you thought this is plan B, or did you always feel like this was gonna be something you were gonna do?
You know, I'm a Sagittarius, so I feel like that has a lot to do with my just go with the flow. I have a plan now more so than ever, But before, it was just as long as I was working in the fashion industry, I was going to be happy. That was
it seemed to me, though, that with the fashion industry, they always end up, the smart ones end up in something, whether it be a clothing line, whether it be a record label, whether it be whatever. I mean, they're going to do something. So, like, it just makes sense.
Exactly.
It just makes sense.
I feel like it literally came to me in a dream. It really did. I lay down on the couch, I went to sleep. And, well, because I couldn't go anywhere else anyways, so I just lay there, went to sleep, and I woke up and I was like, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Let me look into this.
Yeah.
And then you just start building from there. And it was just, don't stop. Don't stop, no matter what. I'm a single mother, so I have that aspect as well. I have my son, I love him, so he takes up a lot of my time. I'm not going to put him on the back burner for anything, you know what I mean?
You're right.
So there's my being a mother, and then there's the stressing over the magazine and making sure that it's right, because at the end of the day it all comes back on me,
Sure.
And I really would hate to make anyone look bad, so.
Well, it's not like your name's not on it, right?
I know, right? So that's another thing I learned, is like the importance of names. Horrible with names before this, and it's probably something I should have worked on before starting the magazine.
Right.
But the digital world is beautiful, so I've literally had people be like, hey, this is spelled wrong. Like, go check this real quick. And I'm like, yo, thank you so much.
No doubt.
Changed.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Done, yeah. So I like that also. I love the fact that our readers and our fans are interactive. They tell us when they're like, you know what, this is happening, or I would really be interested, like the skydiving.
Right.
I interviewed Stephanie Skylove. Actually, we worked together on a team filming a swooping event, and then I was like, you're really interesting, and I like what you're doing. It's crazy to see a woman in this sport. So they looked around the DZ, there weren't many. So I was like, hey, can I interview you? She's like, yeah. Got her interview, and then turns out we clicked. Now she's part of the team.
Right. Isn't that something?
Yeah,
it's exactly how it happened. I mean, I'm just not in that radar. That's not even in my bubble. And thank God for younglings like, KD674, whatever his name is this week. Kendall Tucker, shout out, much love. He knows I'm busting his balls, but he's one of my bubbies. But I'm just so blessed that the network, the people that I can meet through people. I mean, it's just amazing to me. It's amazing to me.
I've linked up with people that support each other. You don't see that very often.
No doubt.
That's something else that I would like to change if I can.
No doubt.
Start that now with my team. Like, we support each other.
Right.
At the end of the day, if you're not supporting each other from within, you're gonna just crumble. And support other artists, and then we can build each other up, and we can all grow, and we can all eat. If you can check your ego for a freaking second, you know what I mean?
Call the dogs to the bowl and let everybody eat. I know all about it. Like, when I come, because this has been me my whole life. So I went in January to this open mic, and it was they're famous open mics in Orlando, and it's these college run things with these young kids, and I come busting in, blah, got there early, got my name 4th on the list, go up 21st. I'm like, hey man, the math don't add up. You know what I mean? But that was just the way, that was their little politics. And they had a politics where it was like, you have to do this, and then you have to do this, and like you put in 2 years and you might be making $25 a set. And I'm like, wait a minute. I said, so, I just felt like I would just bypass that. And kind of just do so like what you were saying, as far as like, I didn't feel that love going in. And I've earned the respect because I put in some time now. But the thing is, now is they're coming to me, and I'm not negative to them at all. You come up, we record your stuff, you get a thing to do a resume with, you get some promote yourself on the podcast, and it's all love. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I had a moment, one of my favorite comedians is Bert Kreischer, and I had a moment with him. I can't go into too much details, but I had a moment with him after a show. We had like a little, we connected. He was like, hey, I'm gonna be over poolside at Rose, and you want to come chill with me? So I was like, fucking right, I want to come chill with my favorite comedian. So the whole thing about it is, this is very approachable. Had I have my future mobile podcast in the van, it's gonna look like this when you sit in the van.
Oh, that's cool.
When I have it done, it would have been on the other side of the fence, he would have come out with me and done the podcast with me, because it's just how people try to stick to each other and try to promote the art, Awesome, man. Okay, so let's see, where am I at? See, I have cheat sheets. I'm gonna let the universe know right now, I am not this smart. So how did it begin? What was the decision process? Was it like, when you make a decision based on your work, I always look at it as three different things: heart, logic, and then a tug of the gut. And then there's a certain time when sometimes that doesn't feel right for me. It's almost like the percentage of what I want outweighs the logic behind it sometimes. So do you have like kind of a strategy that helps you make the decisions? And I know that what the finished product that I see that's so beautiful, I know the battles, the wars, and everything to get to that point. So I know that there's been great decisions, bad decisions, but the point is when you have a decision-making skills, if you're going to reach out and touch anybody out there in the universe that's thinking about doing what you're doing, is there anything that you can help them as far as if you make a decision and I feel like if I can't go to whatever, ...
You know, I can't, that's a difficult question.
I like difficult questions.
So,
Let's get in that onion.
I have a fuck it, just do it mentality. So at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. And usually I just break it down with what I feel is right.
Fearless.
Period. You know, so I remember one of the volumes, this was probably one of the most difficult choices in terms of covers that I really fought myself about. We interviewed, it was Together in Exile, actually, again for the magazine. So they got their official interview. And we went there, did the interview, did their photo shoot. So I'm sitting down and it was launch night. It was minutes before the launch. Now I had two choices that I wanted for the cover, and I had the full band photo as the cover at that current moment. But my heart was telling me that that's not the photo that I wanted to use. Was it a great photo? Yes, it was a good photo of all the guys. However, there was a photo of one of the members that was just jaw-dropping.
Right.
It was incredible. It was an incredible shot. And in that moment, I was just like, do I go with the full band photo?
The politically correct corporate.
Exactly. You know, make everyone happy? Or do I go with what is going to stop someone and make them be like, oh my God, that's a great shot. What is this magazine?
Right.
You know what I mean? So there was that tug of making a really tough decision. And do I know if I made the right decision or not? I don't know. I think I did. I chose the striking image of the solo image.
That's
and it was incredible. We got a great reaction from it. The guys obviously loved the shot. But those things happen.
That's right.
At the end of the day,
that's real shit. That's make or break it shit.
Yeah, you got to make the decision.
That's right.
It came down to, it was 2 minutes before launch, and I swapped the cover out. Boom, put that cover on last minute. And you just got to do it. You know, there's going to be people telling you, you should do this or you should do that. You're not doing it right. You know, who said you could come in here and just create your own magazine? You know, who gave you that permission? You know what? Nobody gave me permission. I didn't ask for permission. I did it. I thought about it. I got a team together of very talented people, and I was like, hey guys, crazy idea. Let's do it. And we did it. You know,
love it.
You can't allow people to hold you back, because if you do, they will, and you will get nowhere.
No doubt.
Just jump off the ledge.
So why do you get up every morning and do what you do versus what everyone else is doing? And like, you know, like I was the same, you know, here I am half in, I'm 12 years in on a corporate gig.
Yeah.
And I made the decision, the conscious decision.
To jump off the edge.
Right. Give it one last shot. So what is it that, or, you know, what is it that you do? What is it to do what you do versus what everyone else does? What is it? What was it that, were you never were the square peg for the, were you always the square peg in the round hole?
I've always been, look at me. I've always been different. Do
y'all see different?
Different is nice.
Yeah, different is nice. That's the voice. Every once in a while he chimes in.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's French Canadian, so he's mostly grouchy.
Yeah, I've always been different, but really it's my son. I want him to be able to look up to me and be proud of me as his mother. And
no doubt.
My mom did some off the wall shit, but she accomplished her goals and lived her dreams and made a good life. I want to make a good life for my son.
Absolutely.
You know? I don't want him to struggle, and I want him to know that it's okay to chase your dreams. Go chase them.
Right.
Don't listen to anyone. Is it going to be difficult? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is. Are you going to have sleepless nights? Yes. Yes, you will. Mom's got your back. I'm here.
I love it.
I could do it. Baby, you could do anything.
I love it.
Go fucking do it. I get up every morning and I grind so hard. So I know he's 5.
Right.
He still sees it. You know what
Sure.
I mean? Like, I want him to have that same grind.
Oh, yeah.
And never stop. You know what I mean? I will reach my destination. I don't even know if there is a destination. I just want to keep going and see how far I can go.
No doubt.
And I want him to have that same drive. You know, nothing can stop you.
Nothing can stop you. I love that. I love it. So, I'm going to ask you some questions
Okay.
that have been asked to me my whole life.
Okay.
And I want you to just kind of say what pops in your mind, and then if you feel like you need to expound upon it, if not, there'll be a few seconds and I'll go to the next question. Okay? These are the questions that I've been asked my whole life. And I'm going to do this, with all my guests that I'm very interested in because of like I said, I love the swag, I love the vibe.
Okay.
It's good shit. So here we go. These are the same questions I'm asked. Now I'm going to ask you the first statement that pops in your mind, and feel free to expand. Who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am? Is it who do I think I am, or who do you think you are? Which one is?
Pretty much, who do you think you are?
Okay.
Or in some of my cases, who the fuck do you think you are?
I'm Anzzia, bitch. You want to say it like that?
Okay.
I'm Anzzia. It is what it is. I am me. I'm a mess. I'm artistic. I'm all kinds of crazy things, but I'm doing me. Just me.
I'm mildly bipolar with a positive mood swing. That's actually documented. So when I get buck, I'll go like buy a house or some stupid shit.
Word.
But I go away for the weekend and blow $1,000. You know.
Hey.
Sometimes you gotta let the steam off.
Yeah. No, I don't feel it. Yeah.
Okay, so what makes you think you can do what you do? Pretty much all of it has a sassy cook to the neck. What the fuck? Who the fuck? How dare you? Okay, so.
You got a Z-snap.
Right.
All right. What was the question again?
Okay, the question was, what makes you think you can do this? What makes you think you can do what you're gonna do?
You know, I'm not even gonna sit here in front like I'm so confident. I'm like, yeah, I got this. I have this struggle on a regular basis. Where some days I'm like, oh my God, can I do this? You know, and I know it's a self-motivating thing for me. I just have to say, like, on a regular basis, don't be a bitch.
Right.
That's really kind of how I talk to myself. Snap out of it. That woe is me. Oh, you're busy? Why are you complaining? What is it?
Thank God we're busy, right?
Thank God I'm busy. Thank God I have this, you know? So it's a flip of... It's a flip of a mental switch. You know what I mean? That's how I think. That's how I know I can do it. Some days I don't think I can, and then other days I'm like, shut up. Yes, you can, and then I do it. So
I've got this thing where I say that it would be proof that God has a nasty sense of humor to put these thoughts in my head and not let me do anything with them. So, I mean, that's just one of those things that, again, these are the questions that I'm asked.
No, that's fine.
Sometimes by the people who are closest to me.
That's fine. I mean, I got a bunch of creative stuff happening in my head. It'd be a waste not to use them.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I want to make films. I want to have a magazine. So I have a magazine. I've made films now.
Right.
You know, I'm technically an award-winning filmmaker.
Ooh, who you gonna get on your little show? Your little video show on the internet.
I'm just exploring the arts. I love entertainment. I love art. So I'm going to explore it because I can. Is that good? That was my sass back.
I love it. So where do you see yourself in 5, 10, and 20 years?
I see myself being successful. In my mind, what successful is. I don't know what anybody else thinks successful is, but I already feel like I'm successful in certain aspects. So in the next 5, 10 years, I feel like I will be more successful. Hopefully, you know.
Right. And success
goal,
is
right?
not just financial, it's spiritual, emotional.
I want to grow as a person, and I feel like in 5 or 10 years I am going to do a lot of growing. I've done a lot of growing in 1 year. I learned so much about myself, you know, just being able to talk myself into continuing when there's nobody else,
right,
to boost you up. Do I have a support group? Yeah, of course, you know, there's my family and like my mom and my friends and stuff. But some days you have to self-motivate.
That's right. Self-medicate? No, self-motivate. I got you. I'm sorry. My bad. I blame it on the Percocet. So, okay. So, where do you find the time? Where do you find the time? Where do you find the time to do everything?
There's a lot of time.
Come on.
There's a lot of time.
I know the answer. I'm asking you because that's what they asked me, and then what you're going to tell the universe.
I mean, it's there. I don't sleep much. I'll say that, and be ready for that if you go into any business of your own. You know, I'm constantly going. My phone is constantly ding, 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 ding.
Right.
You know, so there's that as well. I should probably just shut it off, but I don't.
Right.
I feel like that's how I'm going to achieve more success. Is if I am always willing. I can't ask anything of my team that I myself am not willing to do.
No doubt.
Okay, so I'm not. Of course, I don't have them stay up all night doing editing and stuff like that. We're not on that level, right? But I realize I have to put in a certain level myself.
Of course. No, you're right. That's it. That's it. You don't have to you just be bold, shoulders back. You don't have to, hey, that's right. You got to do what you got to do. I was listening to a podcast, an interview where it was Luke Skywalker, Uncle Luke, down South Florida. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So Uncle Luke was having an interview in a podcast, and he was talking about after Run DMC had Raising Hell, after that album, they would come from New York to perform for him for $500 because it was still grind time. It wasn't that they were, I mean, sure, they were making big money gigs, but there's a lot of little gigs that these guys do that are like, you know, that you get a flight down, you get to work a few rooms, flight back, and you still made a G. You know what I mean? And that's not bad when you're in between two big shows.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it keeps you, keeps you out there. So, yeah, I absolutely know. And, I'm leaving my full-time corporate gig, so I consider myself semi-retired. Yeah, I'm retiring. Yeah, October 6th is the last day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, October 6th. So,
ready?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready. Yeah, I've got my ducks in a row.
Okay.
And the thing is that's why we're launching Soft in November, Hard in January. And I mean, I've already got 4,000 followers on just my little belt, not to mention all the connections that I'm making. So, and then also I'm going to go right to the villages with this good feel-good community piece. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to have 5 workout rooms. So everything's falling into place. So my being semi-retired gives me only 3 jobs that are full-time instead of 4. So I mean, that's semi-retired.
So how do you find the time?
Oh, I don't sleep.
Okay, so.
Oh no, I pack, change your clothes. Hey, let me. You want to hear some life hacks? Get a membership at Anytime Fitness, so you can shower anywhere in the country, and you sleep in Wawa's and Walmart's, and you keep your change of clothes in the back of the car. Not because you're homeless, but because you have to get to this other appointment or you have to get to this other thing, and you always gotta look right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So I mean, I got 3 change of clothes, deodorant, my little smell goods. I got all that anti-skunk, all that bullshit. So I mean, I'm right. And I got memberships at Anytime Fitness just so I could go to the gyms 3 o'clock in the morning, take a shower, take a nap for 2 hours, go hit this other spot by 8. So I mean, we don't sleep.
Yeah.
3 hours, power naps, yoga, look it up. Namaste. Anyways, next question. How dare you?
How dare I what?
That's it. That's the question I'm asking, unless it's motherfucker, how dare you? So, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you be different? How dare you not be a sheep? How dare you not be part of the pack?
Well, because I'm not a sheep.
Damn right.
No, man. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so everyone's like, oh, be different. I feel like I'm not different. I am different, but in a sense of it's the way I think. You know what I mean? You don't have to do what everybody else is doing, and you know. So you graduate high school, and then you go to college, and then you have to get the career, and then you have to get married, and then you have to have 2 children, and then you have to buy a house or in the picket fence. Or
and that picket fence ain't shit. The weed eat around all that's not worth it.
Right, and then like sometime there you're dead, right?
That's right.
You're living somebody else's life, and their weird fantasy. Like everybody's living this weird like bubble. It's strange to me, and I've always felt like I've been outside the bubble watching people like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
Excuse my language. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. This is a neutral zone.
So like I just feel like I'm outside the bubble, and I'm just kind of doing my own thing, walking on this path. You know, sometimes it's not straight. I mess up. You know, everybody does.
Thank God for it.
At the end of the day, that's kind of who I am. I'm doing my own thing, man. How dare you?
That's it. I love it. I love it. Okay, this is the last question, and then I'm gonna do this little quick thing, and then I'm gonna lob you up with the last little part, and then we'll be wrapping up.
Cool.
Why do you have to be so different? That's another one I've been asked my whole life.
I do so different.
Why? Why do you have to be so different?
I don't know. It's not like I do it on purpose. Like, you know what? Today I'm gonna do this to be different. No, it's not like that. It's just kind of, that's just me, you know. And I noticed I surround myself with others that have different energy as well. You know, we're a very interesting bunch. The Anzzia Magazine team, but super talented. It's the mark of an artist, man. We're all different. Like,
no doubt.
Anyone in the entertainment industry, artists, period, we're the oddballs. All right, and I've always been that way. I don't think it's going to change. I've passed it now down to my son, apparently, because he's different too, and I absolutely love it. There's nothing wrong with it. It makes me beautiful, man.
All right, so the last question is asked, and there's a white space, and then it's that last little part, which I'll get to in a moment. So that white space, it represents a freestyle. So I'm going to have a quick closing, and then I'm going to give you the last little part. So here's how it goes. I am attracted to blips in the universe. I don't care about the person who did it for 35 years, got the pension, because I've heard that same story where that guy lost the pension. I am interested in people who are abrasive, go against the grain. I'm very interested in meeting unique people, and I really feel like I was blessed today. I hope the universe was too. We just met. It's again, this social media, and Pop is very impressed as Facebook is in a business perspective. I've never in my life seen so many men that get up and talk about how sad they are. That's just something I'm not used to, guys. Please. But as far as working for business, as far as being able to reach into somebody's personal life and say, hey, I do this, would you be interested? I'm just amazed at how the universe put us together. So, Miss Sky, thank you so much. I'm going to shake your hand, then I'm going to give you the last little part. Thank you for coming on my show.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to ask this of the guests at the end. I want you to do what's called a message to the universe. I'm archiving a message to the universe by people so that if everything keeps moving forward, 100 years from now, some descendant of yours can look back and listen to your message of the universe and listen to this podcast. So I'm asking you to say it to your future family, to your universe, to the people that look up to you, to the people who hate you, to the people who love you, because all of you, we need all of them in order to make this work.
I agree.
So this is the lob, easy one, low-hanging fruit. You can take as long as you want. When it's done, we'll let it a few seconds of silence, and then that'll be a wrap. So, Ms Anzzia Sky, please give us your message to the universe. And it could be silly, it could be deep, it could be whatever. But this is just, and you can come back. I hope you'll come back on another show and you'll be like, oh, by the way, I got something else to tell the universe.
Okay. Message to the universe. What am I going to say to the universe? I don't know how.
Talk right into the universe's microphone.
I know. I don't know how to phrase this. What is this like?
Unfiltered, unapologetic, unedited, uncensored. Do what you want to do. If you have something to say it. Even if you don't have something to say it. It's part of the show.
All right. Well, I'm just going to shout out the magazine then.
Okay.
Universe watchers, everybody. Please continue to support Anzzia Magazine. We love you guys, and we thank you for everything that we've accomplished because of you, really, and people believing in us is what helps us to continue to grow. And we will continue growing, and we will continue reaching new people and new heights. And thanks for the love, man. And to the haters, we love you too. Thanks for the hate, because your hate is keeping us relevant.
Yeah, to the haters and the trolls, fuck you. Anyways, man, them some bitches. But anyhow, I just gave him something to work on. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Please enjoy, like, subscribe, all that bullshit. And we out here. Thank you.
Cool. Oh. Can I add something?
Add away. This is what we like. The people in the universe like this. Go ahead.
For real. You can find the Anzzia Magazine at AnZziaMagazine.com. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We are all over social media. For constant updates on artists of all types, we will keep you guys updated.
And once we're up and running, the launch is, like I said, soft November, big in January. Everyone links to everything. Everybody's part of the same hub, so they'll be able to click me to find you, and et cetera, et cetera. All right, unless she brings up something else as we're wrapping up. Love, peace, chicken grease. We out here.
Thank you, man.
Good shit.
That was fun.
All right, so did she leave to get the food?
Did I look like an asshole?